Staff maintains at all times a 24-karat smorgasbord of A+ narcotics guaranteed to make the competition shit seem like a weak cappuccino in comparison.
Are meeting your acquaintance, but there are rumblings for me to discredit. We shall, I'm certain, meet again.
After they were alerted by the sound of gunfire inside, police have stated that vigilantism will not be tolerated, and that they know it was you.
How many times have you played an RPG that feels like it represents real parts of the world?
It's a nice night out, huh?
Or how many times you've played through an RPG and you felt completely mesmerized and focused into the characters, the story, the setting, and all of the world building?
Not even a knock? I could have been undressing. And who knows what I would have had to do to you. You're here to see Her Royal Majesty.
Let's focus up here. I'm presenting you Vampire Masquerade Bloodlines.
Oh, yes, forgive me. My name is Gimble. Stanley Gimble. But, oh dear, let us dispense with formalities. You can call me Stan.
A game that at first I thought it was set in Germany, but it's actually set up in the real life Santa Monica and you get to play as a vampire. In this video I'm going to talk about Vampire Masquerade, one of my most favorite RPGs that I occasionally come back and play. Vampire Masquerade was firstly introduced as a board game, has been also written by the developers of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2.
You seem to have rather well-developed limbs, if you don't mind me saying so.
Which also explains the amazing writing, storytelling this game has. And if you're someone who've played Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas or other modern RPGs, you will like this one because it shares a lot of the same ideas and in some areas it does it even better than all of those games I've mentioned. Did you know, guys, there is a legend regarding this game that anybody or anytime someone refers to Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines, someone is re-downloading the game. My name is Kavou. I'm trying to cover up new content. I will keep covering Skyrim, but let me know if you would like me to cover some of my most favorite RPG games by liking the video or commenting down below. It helps me find my audience and thank you for listening to this. Alright, I'm gonna split this video into different parts. I'm gonna talk about why you should play this game or what makes it way more interesting than other games. It really puts on shame the modern RPG titles we're getting to this day. That's how good this game is. Which it is.
Heart still belongs to Daddy after all these years, eh, sister? At least he loved me. You take that back, you bitch!
In the end, the modding we have and some other projects going on with this game, like the Skyrim remake of Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines. If you like this video again, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's begin. In Vampire Masquerade, you have to choose between multiple races. I'm not going through any spoilers, I'm just gonna speak about the basics. Essentially, dependent on your race, you will experience different events, different things happening, and different outcomes. Do you remember the Wild Wasteland trade in Fallout New Vegas?
Well, Huh? Friend, not a few minutes ago I chanced upon a pair of destitute orphans grappling over just such an item. If you cover the area methodically, I'm quite certain you'll happen upon them with only the most insubstantial of delays. Be well, and do try and avoid the tragic path of the sot that led me to my present infirmities and spiritual woes. Fare thee well.
Well, imagine every race has that and it's going to give you to many different outcomes, different dialogues, different choices. For instance, I am playing as a Malkavian where you get to speak to stop signs, you're on television and get interviewed.
After they were alerted by the sound of gunfire inside, police have stated that vigilantism will not be tolerated and that they know it was you.
Or even have those weird dialogues that look super edgy and super fun.
Oh yes, the edge.
Most of the boomers will tell you not to choose that race or Nosferatu. I will advise you to play as those because they are super unique. So the first reason why you should play this game is replayability. dependent on your stats, the way your attributes work, the way you level up your character, you will be able to interact with specific objects throughout the map. If you have high strength, you can remove fences. If you have high intelligence, you can hack through PCs. If you have high wits, you can find unique artifacts. There are so many unique ways where you can interact with this world. So anytime you're gonna play this game with your different builds, you will have different things to do. All of the characters being amazingly voice acted, which I'm gonna cover this later on, will offer you different choices, and those choices matter every single time. You can play this game 100 times, you will have 100 results every time. And the number one reason why I want to suggest you this game is the replayability, which is off the charts. The second reason I want to advise you to play Vampire Masquerade, it's a very simple one. This is a short game that is packed with quality content. I am on the philosophy that when I play a game, I like the idea of, maybe you've heard this before, value for money. I love games like Skyrim, Mountain Blade, Fallout New Vegas, where you get to play for hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not thousands, which is one of the reasons why I don't like modern games, because they feel short. However, Vampire The Masquerade is a game that is very short, it is packed with such a good content, and if you give away the replayability factor, it's a game that it's not going to need you to spend or invest way too many hours into it, but you can just spend 10-20 hours and just finish the game, come back 2 months later and replay the game, and it's gonna feel completely different.
What the fuck? I'm blocked! Fire spin! Fire spin!
I'm afraid you are committing a 351. That's trespassing on private property. I'm gonna have to ask that you vacate the premises immediately, or I'm afraid I'll be forced to radio this in. Well, Missy, that's just a natural response that people have to someone in my kind of position.
Hardly ever I find games that are short that I usually enjoy, and Vampire Masquerade is one of those. It made me realize that not all games need to be super long. Sometimes short experiences filled with quality are better than the hundreds of hours you spent in Skyrim, which, by the way, you never truly progress through the game at all, but you stuck at modding the game over and over again. It's a much more simpler philosophy, and I love that about Vampire Masquerade. The third thing I love about this game, and I cannot remark this enough, is the vibe of the game.
It's a nice night out, huh?
It's a very dark game, and you get to play as a vampire in a world where you see how vampires actually do things in secret, where nobody else sees things. It is such a unique experience and such a unique setting that I haven't seen before play out so well. I don't know many other RPGs aside Fallout New Vegas that allow you to navigate through all of the political spectrum that happens nowadays as a mentally ill vampire. If you're someone who loves exploring ideas or politics, Deus Ex does this really well, or Fallout New Vegas, this game does it too. It makes the game way more immersive, it lets you think about things you never thought before. Those type of games have an impact on you. The amount of NPCs in this game might be few, as the game is very short, but trust me when I'm telling you this, every single NPC voice in this game, it sounds so damn good and immersive.
I used to hear Father come in at night. I heard him whisper how much he loved you in your ear before he... Don't finish that sentence, or you're dead. Way with you. And he didn't have to force you. You went limp and became his plaything. Do you think I didn't hear it? Night after night? Always the obedient daughter until... Shut up! Just shut up!
Every single time you're gonna have a conversation with even the most minor characters, you're gonna be totally focused in. Many dialogues will leave you with your mouth open, or will leave you thinking about things you never thought before.
Gimbal took my trigger finger for a trophy. I'm all through with this business. I hate to leave Arthur in a lurch, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that is what I love about this business. Fine women come to my house for my shit. I don't even gotta call them on the phone or nothing. Say there, pretty lady, what can I hook you up with tonight?
This type of voice acting and character building makes me absolutely invested in this world. I think the last time I felt like that was me playing Fallout New Vegas. There is not many games nowadays that do this, especially modern games. Again, closing this section, the reason why I truly want you to experience this game is because of the setting, the vibes, the world building.
But I'm not a native to these parts, so I can't tell if it's irregular. And since you're still fresh, perhaps you're not attuned to it.
I smell a rancid grave.
The story, which usually most of the games over the past 20 years that I've played, most of the RPGs that is, they have extremely boring stories, very generic voice acting, and boring characters. Vampire Masquerade says fuck that, and they will throw you the best they have, which is such a refreshing experience. The fourth reason why you should try Vampire Masquerade is its RPG mechanics, and we do have games like that, but over the years the more modern games we get, the less RPG mechanics I feel like we are getting. Vampire Masquerade focuses or plays around reflecting your own build. You can play as a vampire who only uses knife and melee weapons and refuses to use ranged weapons. Anybody who is using a ranged weapon, the vampires usually look you down upon. So you can play as a proud vampire who only uses knives and melee weapons, aka his raw strength, or you can play as a blood wizard literally using guns. Or you can do anything, you can even build a social build focusing around seduction and diplomacy.
No one flirts like a Malkavian. Your compliments make me positively tingly.
There are so many different ways you can play this game, so many different ways to build your character, and as you build your character, depending on what skills you pick, different choices, different environmental paths will unlock for you in order to play. This goes back to the replayability factor, but again, I just love the RPG mechanics of this game. I love the progression and how you are getting stronger and stronger, and given how short this game is, the progression feeling combined with the RPG mechanics is top notch. The game is dated very poorly, it has many flaws, but so do other games, and every single game has flaws. Vampire the Masquerade is not perfect, but for a game as ancient as itself, it pulls the combat pretty damn well. There is even a humanity score, which depends how many people you kill or how much you try to focus into your character, not portraying himself as a vampire for others to notice. There are so many ways you can play this game and so many ways you can build up your character, which again, it's absolutely fascinating. The last part about this video is that there is a very big modding community when it comes to Vampire the Masquerade, which if you know I'm a big nerd when it comes to modding games, especially good games. If you guys want me to, I can make a very short video of modding this game, and if you will be interested into that, let me know again by liking the video. You can enhance Vampire the Masquerade with enhanced graphics, better character models, much more content and official patches to fix lots of flaws, and the best of all, even VtMB and ray tracing. You can make this game not to look as something as Skyrim running at 4K, but you can make it look much more better than most of the modern games we're getting nowadays. Vampire the Masquerade has a lot of loading screens. I'm looking at you, Starfield, but given the modern hardware most of us have nowadays, those loading screens, thank God, take almost no time. And speaking of that, do you guys know that Vampire the Masquerade has been on schedule to be built on the Skyrim? That's right, there is a project made by a studio called VtMB Reawakened. It's a small team of modders that they are trying to rebuild this game into the Skyrim Edge, which is crazy in my opinion. Given the community so far, they have done an amazing job. So if you're into this type of stuff, if you maybe want to wait a bit and try this game into Skyrim, which by the way works really well, there is also that, which I'm gonna cover at some point. And lastly, there is a sequel we're getting setting, which I'm not sure when this will come out, so that's out there too. So closing in, Vampire The Masquerade is a game that refuses to die. It's a beautiful game, a hidden gem in my opinion, and a game that any RPG enthusiast should try at least once. You should have an Imperial Guard visit your home and arrest you if you haven't played this game yet.
Stop right there, criminal scum! Nobody breaks the law on my watch! I'm confiscating your stolen goods. Now pay your fine, or it's off to jail.
And if you have, let me know which is your most favorite faction down in the comments. That being said, that's my reasons why you should play Vampire The Masquerade. Bloodlines is one of the most unique and one of my most favorite RPG games of all time. The vibe of this game is absolutely unique, the voice acting is top notch, the world building, the political aspect, the RPG elements, everything this game has is fantastic. It's not perfect, it has problems. That was my short video of covering this game, one of my most favorite games of all time. If you would like me to cover more of those, let me know by liking this video, commenting down below, or even subscribing. My name is Kavou, I will be covering Skyrim and other great RPGs. Again, stay tuned for more of those. Until next time,